In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a creepy song right here in GarageBand on your iPhone or your iPad. So let's go if you dare. Hi, my name is Pete and welcome to Studio Live today, where I help you create, record and release your creepiest music. And in this one, because it is Halloween, it's that time of the year, I wanted to show you how I created this song. This is a cover of a famous song from the past, which you're going to find out about as we go through here. And I'm going to show you all the different instruments that we use if you're looking to get that nice, creepy, scary sort of ambient feel in your songs as well. So let's dive in now and take a look. Now, if you've got some kids in the room, maybe ask them to leave, because this is not for the faint of heart. And I say that half joking and half serious because my children are actually terrified of this sort of music. So what have we got? We've got some drums here. We're going to get a nice heartbeat kind of drum feel going on with our 4 on the floor drum kit. Then we've got the aptly named Plucked Ghosts here. We're using the toy Celesta because there's nothing creepier than a toy instrument in this sort of music. The bass keys and the classic synth bass are doing bass duties. We've got the shimmering bells because bells are just creepy to begin with. We've got a couple of tracks of vocals here, nice creepy vocals. And then towards the end here, we have the Aether Choir. Am I saying that right? Probably not. We've got the synth chime echoes, and we've got the Scarlet, the color of blood. Okay, I'll cut the Halloween stuff now, but it is really fun to make a creepy vibe here. You can use a minor key and you can add some of these instruments and you'll hear that we can build up a pretty cool sound. So let's do that now. So we've started here with a couple of drum kits here. We've just chosen the 4 on the floor drum kits to use. So just one of our standard drum kits. We'll bring it up here, and the rhythm we've got is we're using that heartbeat kind of rhythm. So if we hit play on this one. So if you want to get this sort of sound, you need to make sure your velocity is set. So you've got a hard hit and then a softer hit. If we come in here to our track view, I'll show you how this looks. So we'll tap on this, we'll tap again, we'll go edit. And if we come in here, let's come to these first. Now you can see it's very much looped. And this is a good thing if you're making this sort of music, you can loop it up. So down the bottom here, this is our first hit. If we look at the velocity of that one, it's right up there. Velocity of our second hit is very low, and that's what we have all the way through, and that gives us this nice heartbeat kind of sound as we go through with the track. The other track that we have here is just doing a little bit of a hi-hat. So if we listen in now, it's just a very faint tick on there. So again, we've got some pretty subtle drums here, and we've just mixed those in at the nice level, nice low level there to accompany the rest. And they are pretty straightforward. They go through the whole track like that. Now, if you don't know how to loop, I'll show you a few tips as we go along. So this was all the way back here. If we need to unloop it first, don't we? We'll tap it, we'll drag it on back. Like that. So that is all I recorded in, and here's how you can cheat. All you need to do to loop it is tap it, and then go to settings, and then here with our looping, we'll turn that on, and boom, we've got it looped all the way through this whole track. So that's an easy way to guess. So that's our drums set up. Let's move on and take a look at some of our other instruments. I'm going to say this carefully. Plucked Ghosts is one of the synth sounds we have. So a lot of these are part of the Alchemy synth pack and some of the other sound libraries we have here. So if we come into our instrument here, like so, we're here with the Plucked Ghost. If you want to change that, you just tap on there and you'll be able to see where these are. They're under Synth and under Plucked Ghost. We can use any of our other categories here and we can find whatever other sound we want, but we want these ones. And this one sounds a bit like this. If we come up here, that's where we've actually got it in there. And that's what we're actually using in here. Just a very simple pattern with just a hit on there. So let's come out here and take a listen to what this sounds like. So it's just right there on the first note, the first beat of each bar. So if we come back in here, the way that I've done this is I've just gone up an octave here. There it is. I'm just holding my finger down on there. And playing around, you can use different things, and there's different techniques to get some cool different variations, which we'll show you with some of the other instruments. But that's pretty simple, and as you see, our Plucked Ghosts go pretty much the same all the way through there. We get a bit of variation down here towards this section. If we just bring these in like this and take a quick listen. So that's the only variation we have is just down there. But apart from that, it's pretty straightforward. Now, the star of the show is this one, the Toy Celesta. And again, toy instruments, nothing could be more creepy. So let's listen to what we've got together with this toy instrument. It sounds like this. And I love this sound because it has that, you can hear the sort of the sound of the actual instrument in the background. That's not me banging around, that's the actual instrument. So if we come in here and have a look at this one, this one's part of the toy box pack here, the Toy Celesta. Again, we can select it by tapping in the middle. We're under Other, and we're Toy Celesta. So here we have, and I can't play it too well. Yeah, it's going to be hard to play over the top of my microphone, but we'll just try. So it's everything's in C minor in this one. Yes, close to that. I played it better. You can play around with that. Now, if you don't know how to use the actual keyboard or how to play the keyboard, no problem. You can use either chord mode on over here, which I've actually got in C major at the moment. I'd have to adjust that, but if we adjusted this, now because I haven't used anything, I've got this as C major, and I won't change it now because it'll change a bunch of our notes. But if you had that in C minor, you could come here and just play these chords and you would get a sound in the minor. Or you can just stay in C major and play down here. So that's cool. You can also use the arpeggiator if you want to create some different sounds. So we could put this on and we'd probably make this note rate really low. So like put the note rate down like this. And then if you actually play multiple notes, if we come back out here, so even if you don't have the ability to play the keyboard, don't worry, you can create some pretty cool and unique sounds just using what you have here on the keyboard. But that is what I think is a pretty cool instrument, and I love using it in these sort of minor key, creepier kind of sound songs because I think it sounds super cool. Let's bring all those together and see what we have so far. So there's our bed, and at this point I was thinking, okay, that's good. We got our trebly kind of sound. We need some bass. So let's jump in and take a look at that. The first bass I'm using is the bass keys here. So let's solo this sucker and come in here and take a listen. That sounds like this. And what you can hear there is we've got that variation, and that's a wavering sound is what I think adds to the creepiness of a track like this. Let's tap on our piano icon up here and come in here. So here we're using bass keys. If you want to know where this is, it is here under keys in our Alchemy synth bass keys. That's the one we want here. So if we tap, that's too low. There were the notes, weren't they? Da, do, do, do. And again, with this, there's a couple of things you can do here. If we just hold down, we get that natural variation. But here what happens when we actually move our finger up the key. It actually changes. So if you... it changes the tone. It's pretty cool. The other thing we can do is, as I've shown in other videos more recently, we can actually move this around if we wanted to. So as you're recording, you can actually move that around and that will record in any changes that you're adding. So we'll show that in another patch in a moment. But for this one, we just use most of the natural sound of that one. So let's jump back over here. That is what we have with our bass keys. We've then added some extra bass here. And this is an interesting technique. I wanted to use this bass as a pad. So you can see here it's only one line all the way through. So the reason for that is I've basically just hit it and then just used some controls on here to actually change it. Let's take a listen. So we've got that warbling kind of sound there, yeah? Let's show you how we create that. So we come in here, we tap on our instrument, and if we just tap, it's just going to do that, yeah? So that doesn't really help us. Now what you can do, you can move up and down like that. So that's the one way to do it is to hold down. Try not to hit the second key, so. The other thing you can do is actually manually adjust the cutoff button. And you can do that while you're recording, and it will record in those changes. And if you're using an iPhone, you can actually use 3D touch, where if you touch and you sort of vary the pressure and the sensitivity on there, it's going to actually go whoa, 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 whoa again. So there's 3 ways that you can get some natural variation here in any of your instruments here. You can use the automation there. You can go up and down like that, or with 3D touch, you can hold down. So in this case, I think I did this on my iPhone and I think I used 3D touch, but it really doesn't matter which one you use. It depends what you have available. So that's created that sound. Let's bring these 2 bass sounds together, and you can see I just hit the C and just held it all the way through. Let's take a listen to our bass. So we have that nice, interesting bass to the rest of our song here. So that's where we're at so far. Let's continue on here. I've inserted some shimmering bells here because, again, bells are creepy and they sound like this. Let's jump into the instrument. Oops, we're still in the bass. Let's go back. And again, you can hear that I've used that technique of bringing it up again. So if we go into the instrument here, I've gone on the C minor. And you can hear that when you're moving up and down, just experiment with this. You can get some really cool sounds. And again, if we used it up the top here, you can get some really interesting, especially the Alchemy synths, you can get some creepy sounds just by experimenting and moving some of those dials around. So there you go. There is our shimmering bells to add in. And you can see here how we're building this. We're layering it up and we're bringing in different instruments as we go along. Okay, the time has come. Let's take a listen to the vocals and reveal what the actual song is that I'm performing here. So I've recorded an original vocal here. I've got the pop overdrive on there originally, and then I've got the merged track here, which I actually used when I was doing an experiment and showing something in another video. So these are my 2 original vocals. This one just happens to be merged. And funnily enough, I accidentally merged this with a different track. If we take a listen to this, it sounds a bit like this. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, so yeah, so I accidentally put those bells in there with there, but here is the other side, which is my right side vocal. Wonder what you are up above the world. Now these were recorded just with my iPhone microphone, so that's why you can hear there that the quality is not amazing if we play it there. But I think that sort of lo-fi sound actually adds to it. Let's take a quick look at what I set in here for my vocals. So yes, we've gone a bit nuts here. We've got the drive up, which is why it's sounding kind of distorted, which is the sort of vibe that we wanted. We've got a lot of vocal hall reverb in here. The compressor is out the wazoo. A little bit of pitch control in there. What have we got in the way of effects over here? Well, we've got some track echo on here to add some additional echo. That's that 8th note echo that you're hearing. We've got some track reverb on here as well. So we're just making this swim. Look at that wet signal at 42%. We're just making this swim in reverb, and just so that we get a diamond in the sky. Just so that we get that really interesting kind of sound in there, and adding, because we've got all that atmosphere behind it, it sort of just makes it sit nicely in the mix. So there's our 2 vocal sounds. Now we have a couple of things here just to finish things off. We have to add a choir. A creepy choir background pad is almost essential in something like this. So let's take a listen to this choir sound now. There it is. And again, we leave it pretty standard most of the way through. And then just when we get down to here, it does a little bit. So this is just after the first verse of the song. It sounds like this. And it actually sounds cool. The bleed that I have in the audio, you might hear if you're listening on headphones. You can hear that click, 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 you can hear just the background of like the Toy Celesta and some of the drums, which is bleed into the microphone of my audio, which is actually making it sound a little bit extra creepy and cool. I like that. Finally, we have a couple of little, again, in this in this interval bit here, where we bring in the choir, we've also got these. So let's just play these ones all together, shall we? Like this. So yeah, you can hear it's just sounding a little out of time, but that's a good thing, again, because it's supposed to sound a little bit weird and creepy. The way that we've done these ones, again, another technique that we've used, and that is we came in here. Did you think you'd learn so much just listening to a creepy song? So it's actually up here. We'll just we'll use our scroll. You can hear that cool delay that we have on this. So all I did with this one is I used the pitch mode here. So this is a good use of your pitch mode. And I hit on just one note. And the reason you see it's only one note in the MIDI is I just moved my finger all the way down in the C minor scale. So we started on C. And then we just moved down in the C minor scale. And then we missed the D. And then even when it goes away, that delay just gives you that ambience that continues on there. You can tell I've missed my calling. I need to make songs like this more often, right? So there we go. That's what we have. We've brought it all together. It's a very, very quick and very simple song, but I just wanted to share because, yes, number one, it's Halloween time. It's that time of the year where people are sharing their Halloween-related stuff, and this is the closest that I have. And there's some techniques in here that I think will help you build out, especially if you're looking to build atmospheric type music that has pads, that has synth sounds. There's a couple of techniques in there that I think will help you out, as well as how to get those vocals that are going to sound a little bit creepy as well. So that is going to do it. Let's finish off by listening to this whole track. Again, kids out of the room. This is going to be a little bit creepy. We're going to play my rendition here of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.